Hey, my name is Roman, aka Young BizWiz, and unfortunately in my last video, I didn't check my camera before recording, so you guys only got to see like the top part of my head. So very sorry about that, but in today's video, we'll talk a little bit more about what's been going on with the Trump and China tariffs, a little bit more about Trump's history and what's been going on recently with him, and issues and concerns with China with not importing to other countries rare metals apparently. Let's dive into it. My name is Roman, aka Young BizWiz, and let me talk to her. So first things first, if you don't know anything about the tariff situation, I will repeat it one more time. Trump has decided to take a very strong stance on tariffing when he got into office this year in 2025. And through that, he made enemies out of China, Canada, and Mexico as the first three. And through that, Mexico, Canada kind of fought China really.
I think you're going to remember today, it's going to be a free nation that we're dealing with. We're going to have a very free and beautiful nation. It's going to be Liberation Day in America, and it's going to be a day that hopefully you're going to look back in years to come and you're going to say, you know, he was right. This has turned out to be one of the most important days in the history of our country. That's a 10. That's a good one.
Really fought with America, and that's already a great 25% tariff war where it started slowly increasing from 25% to 40% as 80% into 125% into 145%.
The Treasury Secretary Dustin suggested that with the tariff rates as high as they are now, it's effectively an embargo of trade between the United States and China. Do you see it that way?
That's true. 145% is very high, and it won't be that high. It's not going to be that high.
And so it's come to a point where apparently Trump has decided with China that they're gonna negotiate and talk more about the tariffs that are going on right now. And he has claimed this about a few days ago. I'd say about 3 or 4 days ago, he talked about this. But it would seem that China disagreed on this. And I want to say, first of all, I think it's a good thing if China and Trump decide to figure out the tariff thing, because, you know, as the end consumer, if we're paying 150% tariffs on products coming from China, or we're paying like 150% tariffs for products to go into China, you know, we're pretty cooked as like a consumer and business standpoint. China does 3 times the amount of imports into America as we do into China, at about a $300 billion trade deficit. It is almost $500 billion actually in total, but in general, as you can tell, these numbers are kind of crazy. I think America's at $1 trillion in total trade deficit as of 2024, 2025-ish. So it seems like there's reason for the tariffs, but with China denying it actually and saying, hey, there's no talk between America and China about reducing tariffs. What is this orange man talking about? So it would seem that we're at a standpoint, and that just kind of comes down to, who do you believe? Do you believe in Trump telling the truth? Do you believe in China telling the truth? Is it propaganda from one side, propaganda from another? I don't know, but let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the future. Do you think that America is actually going to make trade attempts with China and that we're both going to come to amicable terms? Or do you think it's all BS? Do you think Trump is just going to run around, or China is just going to take over with the tariffs, and we're just going to, A, America is going to have to come down to China and accept their tariffs, or B, China is going to have to scum down to America? Now, people argue whether America or China needs each other more in this tariff trade war, and I think it's very important to explain that we are the consumers. So China sells a lot more goods to us than we do to them. It's 3 to 1. And America is just a consumer country in general, because we're usually richer than the average country and we buy a lot of things. You know, Temu, TikTok Shop, these things have netted about $40 billion or $50 billion of sales in 2024, actually, just these 2 places alone. And, you know, you can argue, A, that China needs us more because, you know, they sell the products to America, and without America to buy the products, you know, China won't be able to make money through America. Or you can go on the other side and say that America needs China because we buy so many products from China that if they don't sell any products to us, then we're cooked. So, you know, there's 2 sides to that script, and I'm kind of curious about what you guys think about it. Personally, I think, you know, the customer is always right just by this logic. You know, a business can sell as many products as they want, but if no one's buying them, then it's kind of useless to be in business, no? So I always think that, like, China would need America more because we are the consumers, then America would need China. Kind of like the same way where we were talking about whether Canada would need America more or does America need Canada.
Let's get to Canada and its threat to cut off energy exports to the U.S. in retaliation for the Trump tariffs. We go by the numbers on how much we rely on Canada, right? So first one up here is 35, because there are more than 35 major electricity lines on the U.S.-Canadian border. And you think about it, you have 70 oil and gas pipelines. Most of the power, though, goes in one direction. We sent $25 billion worth of energy to Canada in 2021, but they sent us 112 billion. So we are reliant on the Canadians. Now, you think about it percentage-wise, all the crude we import from around the world, the vast majority, Canada, 64%.
And while, you know, everyone was talking about how Canada supplies more energy to America, like, I hope so, right? Canada's population is about like at least 10 times less than America's. So it just makes more sense that we would consume more electricity and fuel. And if Americans aren't buying Canada products, you know, it's a lot harder for Canada to trade to other countries because Canada's kind of shelled off there in North America between Alaska and America, United States of America. So it's kind of a, to me, I feel like America kind of holds more power when it comes to the trade tariffs, but you guys are free to have your own opinion. And I would love to hear more about what you guys think about that. Other than that, with China and Trump spreading propaganda, it would seem that also Trump has decided to revisit Ukrainian's leader. If you don't know, Ukraine and Russia have been having a major war for the past few years. I'd say probably past decades or so, but it got really popular and I believe about 2022, 2023-ish with Russia invading Ukraine invading them back, you know, defending their land, etc. It became a huge thing. People all around the world were talking about support Ukraine, and Trump has decided to revisit their president, which his name is Zelensky. So Zelensky and Trump have visited because of Pope Francis' death, which is also a little bit part of this video. If you don't know, Pope Francis died, RIP, recently, and a lot of world leaders are apparently meeting up for this huge moment because, you know, it's a big event for a pope to die, and with so many people, world leaders gathering. As weird as this sounds, I think, you know, there's going to be talk of business when these people meet up, maybe trade tariffs, other things going on, wars, business, a lot of things are going to be talked about. So I wonder how that's going to impact, you know, future policies and tariffs and legislation bills, but we can always find out in the future because it's a little too early to find out what's going on right now. Other than that, China has also decided to restrict imports on a lot of rare metals and rare elements, apparently. Australia is sucking out really bad because a lot of their rare metals come from China. And apparently 70% of America's rare metals actually come from China too. So it's pretty interesting to note this, but I think they're putting a restriction on trades in general just because of the tariffs and what's going on with the situation. They really obviously don't like it, you know, obviously with a 145% tariff on things, you know, it doesn't seem to make sense that China would want to play by those terms. Obviously, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't either. So it's just like, hey, what's going on here? But apparently you need these rare metals and America needs these rare metals and so does the world. So how does that work? Where are people being led to? Australia is personally deciding to invest billions of dollars into China, salvage their own metals and make it themselves, trying to become codependent, independent from China. But not everyone is like Australia. So what are things that we can do for China to trade back with the world on some of these metals, these rare metals? And why are they called rare metals exactly? Specifically because of how hard they are to refine them and the challenges that come with making them actually usable. Anyways, my name is Roman, aka Young BizWiz. What do you guys think about today's episode? Do you think that China or Trump is lying about negotiating trade tariffs? Do you think that China is going to scum to America, or America is too weak and has to scum to the world? You know, they did tariff the entire world and then put a pause on it. It was like a 10% tariff worldwide, I believe. So, you know, one side has to win and one side has to lose most of the time. Yeah, you can come to amicable terms, but in general, there's someone gives more and someone takes less. What do you guys think overall about the whole situation? My name is Roman, aka Young Businesses again. Thank you so much for watching this video and have an awesome day. Take care, peace, and until the next time.